A new video reveals lots of details about local history. Many area governments will be closed for Good Friday, and Easter egg hunts will be hard to miss this weekend. We'll have these stories and more coming up.
A fantastic Easter weekend of weather coming up across East Alabama. We will have the complete forecast coming up.
Coming up in sports, Faith Christian Baseball was in action today at Choccolocco Park. We also preview the day ahead tomorrow. We have more on both of that in just a minute as EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Oxford Lumber. Come visit any of our locations in Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, and Roanoke.
Hello, we're glad you could join us. I'm Mike Stedham. Katie Edwards has the evening off. A video documentary featuring interviews with longtime Anniston residents premiered this month on YouTube. Titled Voices, An Oral History of Anniston, the film explores those residents' memories and perspectives of Anniston. The Public Library of Anniston, Calhoun County conducted a series of interviews as part of this project funded by the Alabama Humanities Alliance to capture a bit of Anniston's history as told through the faces and words of the people who lived it. Teresa Kaiser, the library director, says the documentary is free for all to watch on YouTube.
We found people who were born, raised in Anniston, who lived Anniston back in the years. And we interviewed them. As a matter of fact, we did over 33 interviews. We have over 51 hours of interview tape. And Buddy Vickers, who is a great videographer, interviewer, volunteered his time to take this, edit it together to provide this documentary. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. That's a compilation of all of the interviews that we did together.
With its roots as a company town founded by Sam Noble and Daniel Tyler in the 1870s, Anniston has a rich history, and at its core are the fascinating stories and memories of its people. The idea of compiling these interviews came from a meeting that Kaiser had with a videographer, who ended up putting together more than 51 hours of interviews captured over a year's time from individuals ranging in age from 64 to 103.
I knew that there was a grant with the Alabama Humanities Alliance, and Buddy Vickers was in my office one day, and we just started throwing around ideas. Him being a videographer, he had already done some video to promote the library, and we thought it'd be a great idea to capture some of the stories of the people who are not going to be around forever, and their stories will be lost. The oldest person we talked to was Nanny Lou Moore. She was 103 years old, and unfortunately she passed before she even got to see this. As a matter of fact, she passed within a month of us interviewing her. She was the first female deputy of the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office.
The entire collection of interviews will eventually be cataloged and made available through the library's archive. The video collection aims to provide a glimpse into Anniston's past through the eyes and voices of those living today, telling their tales as well as the ones they were told by their elders. The goal is to help preserve for future generations an appreciation and understanding of Anniston's heritage. And that, Kaiser says, is one of the responsibilities of the public library.
I look at it as the responsibility of the library to retain the history and the archives of the city. And this is just one more thing that we do to maintain the memories, to archive the history of the city and to maintain it. This is something that will eventually, these memories will be lost in the future. So we're hoping to continue doing this over the years, periodically adding to it and interviewing some other people. We may not have another premiere compilation documentary, but we do need to capture the history that we can now from the people who live here.
When we return, East Alabama prepares for the last days of Holy Week.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction, within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
Anyone interested in doing city business will need to wait for Monday. That's because most municipal offices across East Alabama plan to be closed for Good Friday. This includes City Hall offices, utility offices, and some parks and recreation departments as well. The Jacksonville and Anniston Calhoun County Public Libraries will be closed throughout the weekend, but the Oxford Public Library will reopen Saturday, and the Jacksonville Library plans to resume regular operating hours on Tuesday. The one exception to municipal office closings is in Ohatchee, where a city employee confirmed by telephone today that the city will remain open on Friday. Meanwhile, most area public schools, including Jacksonville State University, will remain open. The exceptions are Calhoun County and Anniston City schools, which are off this week for spring break. Good Friday is a Christian holiday that is observed each year before Easter Sunday. It commemorates the crucifixion of Christ, which is viewed by Christians as a symbol of good defeating evil. Anyone with questions about whether a public office will be closed for the holiday should consult social media pages or call the specific office for information. Careers for Cleburne was held today in Heflin to give area companies a chance to introduce themselves to local high school students, as well as find some new employees in today's workforce. It's an annual event coordinated by career coach Tommy Wood at Cleburne County High School, who says that he combined a high school job exhibition with a job fair for adults. Wood says that last year's Careers for Cleburne was a big success, with several workers starting their new jobs on the Monday following the event. And he hopes that today's Careers for Cleburne is equally effective. When we come back, you won't have to search far to find plenty of Easter egg hunts this weekend.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wadowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
The Oxford Parks and Recreation Department will hide 3,000 eggs for Saturday's Easter egg hunt. That hunt will take place in the field behind Friendship Community Center's gymnasium, which is located just off Friendship Road. It's a free event for kids up to age 12. The field will be divided into 4 age groups, each and including a section for special needs children. An appearance will be made by the Easter Bunny at 8:30 a.m. And also on Saturday, the Easter Bunny will be hopping through the Jack State campus from noon until 2 p.m. The President's House will be open for an egg hunt, petting zoo, food, and fun. The action shifts to the university's Recreation Center from 3 to 5 p.m., where another Easter egg hunt will be held, this time in the indoor swimming pool. The public is welcome to this free event. And speaking of what's going on this weekend, we have a question for John Holder, who's standing by in the EAN Weather Center. And that question is, what kind of weather will we have for the Easter weekend?
Mike, the rest of the work week and the Easter weekend is looking close to perfect across East Alabama. We will have a fantastic forecast coming up for the weekend next.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Temperatures today across East Alabama just a little bit below average for this time of year. 67 for the high after a morning low of 47. Our record high temperature 84 degrees. We will be close to that coming up early next week across East Alabama. The record low at 30. Sunrise and sunset times, you see those. The days are getting longer, folks. 6:34 your sunrise and the sun setting now after 7 p.m. Here's weather on your street for your Thursday night. Weaver Road out in Linlock, it is going to be a cold night for any time of the year, but especially for the back half of March in Alabama. We're dropping down to 38 tonight. A frost advisory in effect for early tomorrow morning from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Speaking of tomorrow, your Good Friday forecast. Warming up on Kyle Avenue in the Alabama City area of Gadsden. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, warmer than today. No chance of rain in the forecast, and the high tomorrow will be at 73. A fantastic spring day coming up. As we look ahead to next week, folks, we're going to be looking ahead to the weekend and next week as well. Field Road out in Iron City. Classic spring weather coming up for this weekend and the early part of next week as well. We're looking at temperatures in the 70s and 80s this weekend. We'll be in the upper 70s for the most part on Saturday. We will be over 80 degrees on Sunday, and even into next week, we're going to keep those 80-degree temperatures with us. You're going to see that right now in our 7-day forecast. Look at these temperatures rising every day. We wind up at 81 by Sunday for Easter Sunday afternoon. 83 on Monday. That will be close to record high temperature territory. Our next chance of rain not coming into the forecast until Tuesday. 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. The high once again in the 80s. Behind that front, temperatures are going to cool back down to about where they should be for this time of year, as we will be back into the upper 60s. And look at that, getting back down into the upper 30s again, kind of the last gasp of winter time here in about a week across East Alabama. We mentioned the showers and thunderstorms coming up on Tuesday. This is looking at the extended forecast. This is a day 4 through 8 severe weather outlook generated by the folks at the Storm Prediction Center out in Norman, Oklahoma. And this is day 6, which is actually next Tuesday, the 2nd day of April. And you can see a 15% chance. That's pretty significant this far out for severe weather coming up in the northern, we'll say the northern third of the state of Alabama, just north of our area here in East Alabama. I will be back here tomorrow morning with your day at a glance for your Good Friday, as we'll forecast the weather for all of your day tomorrow. And I'll be back here tomorrow night with EAN Local News. We will detail the forecast for all of East Alabama for the weekend ahead. Right now it's sports time. Namath Pitt's going to talk about some Faith Christian baseball. Namath?
Thanks, John. The Faith Christian Lions were in action today at Choccolocco Park when they went head-to-head with Deshler. Unfortunately for the Faith Christian Lions, they had trouble keeping up with the Deshler Tigers in what would be a 15-2 loss. The Deshler Tigers got on the board in the top of the first inning after Jacob Alexander grounded out, scoring 1 run, and Nash Adams singled, scoring 2 runs. Deshler eventually added to their early lead in the top of the 3rd inning after Faith Christian committed an error and Price Thornton scored after tagging up. Deshler scored 5 runs on 3 hits in the top of the 6th inning as George Youngblood drew a walk, scoring 1 run. Jacob Allen singled, scored 1 run, and Garrett Reed singled, scoring 3 runs. Will Smith stepped on the bump first for Faith Christian. The starting pitcher allowed 8 hits and 8 runs, 2 earned, over 3 2/3 innings, striking out 3 and walking 2. Jay Murner stepped on the bump for Deshler. He surrendered 1 hit, 1 run, 0 earned over 1 inning, striking out 1 and walking 2. Will Smith led Faith Christian at the plate with a run batted in. Eli Robinson led Faith Christian with 2 hits and 3 at-bats, and Faith Christian turned 1 double play in the game. Deshler accumulated 14 hits in the game. Their leadoff hitter Reed led Deshler with 4 hits and 5 at-bats. Adams and Reed each drove in 3 runs for Deshler. Aiden Oyola and Allen each collected multiple hits as Faith Christian fell to Deshler. We talked with the head coach of Faith Christian after the game, Coach Joshua Ray, whose team has big area series coming up after spring break, and he talked about how his team can make the playoffs.
Throw strikes. Throw strikes. I think that's our biggest thorn in our side right now is throwing strikes. I think in our last area series we walked, over 20 guys in 3 games. So we got to be able to throw strikes and having good plate appearances. Got to be able to put the ball in play, battle with 2 strikes, and we've done that pretty well this year. We're getting better every game as far as battling with 2 strikes. So keep doing that. I think the guys have finally bought in. So yeah, just keep doing that.
Speaking of Faith Christian, they will be back in action tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a look at the action for tomorrow. We pick up with baseball at Choccolocco Park, where you will find Coach Joshua Ray's team going head-to-head against Class 6A's Gadsden City Titans. So again, this game will be tomorrow at noon as Faith Christian will go head-to-head against Gadsden City. Also tomorrow, this game is at Arab as the Piedmont Bulldogs, Coach Matt Dearman's team, makes the trip north to Arab. Their first game will be against Russellville. So that is Russellville, who is a traditional, really good baseball team in Class 5A. That is who Matt Dearman's team will go head-to-head with tomorrow first. Also tomorrow, this game's at Ranburne as the Hanley Tigers, Class 4A, will make the trip to Ranburne to face Coach Whitley's Bulldogs team. Little non-area 2A versus 4A action tomorrow at Ranburne. Also tomorrow, this game is at Choccolocco Park. Chilton County, that's Chilton County right there. They make the trip to Oxford tomorrow to Choccolocco Park, where they'll face the Oxford Yellow Jackets, as that will be a part of the Spring Break Experience Tournament. Softball action gets busy at Choccolocco Park tomorrow, so let's take a look at the action for softball. Let's start with this one, though, that is not at Choccolocco Park. It is at Cleburne County. It is non-area 3A versus 4A. It's Coach Fulmer and the Weaver Bearcats, who have been red hot here lately, make the trip to Cleburne County to face the Tigers. Speaking of action at Choccolocco Park, Coach McKibben's teams will be at home tomorrow as they will host Saraland. We talked about on the locker room, teams making the trip to Oxford to get familiar with the facilities. Saraland, who we know is really good in 6A, is one of those teams that is making the trip north. They come to Calhoun County to play at Choccolocco Park, where they will go head-to-head against Oxford. Oxford's playing more than one game, though. They will then go head-to-head against Arab, who will make the trip down to Calhoun County. Again, Oxford going head-to-head with Saraland and going head-to-head with Arab, 2 really good teams making the trip to Calhoun County. Also, Coach Muncher and the White Plains Wildcats will be in action tomorrow at Choccolocco Park, where they will go head-to-head against Hoax Bluff. Now, that is the first of 3 games for White Plains. Their first game's against Hoax Bluff. Their second game will be against Class 6A Pell City. So Pell City will make the trip to Choccolocco Park, not to face Oxford, though, to face White Plains. And then White Plains, Coach Muncher's team will close their action tomorrow by going to head with Beauregard. Beauregard is one of the better teams in their classification. Really good softball program. They know they're going to be playing at Choccolocco Park at the state tournament. They're going to come get familiar with White Plains, Coach Muncher's team, and get familiar with Choccolocco Park. There's only one soccer game in East Alabama tomorrow. It features the Oxford Yellow Jackets, and they're playing on the road. The Oxford Yellow Jackets boys and girls are having an area play game tomorrow where they will head north to face the Aggies of Albertville. That's right, the Oxford Yellow Jackets back in action tomorrow for soccer. They open the weekend up at Albertville to face the Aggies. That's it for EAN Local Sports. Let's go back over to Mike.
Thanks for that update, Namath, and thank you for watching us today. You can find us here online every weekday on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or on our website. Just go to the platform of your choice and watch for our news, sports, and weather content whenever it's convenient for you. We'll see you back here Friday for your news on your schedule.